Okay, greetings paddles. Oh, I said it again. Second time I recorded it, I said it both times. This is actually on a brand new channel. This is called the Marvel Project. What is the Marvel Project? Well, it's I, Lewis. I'm going to attempt to read every single Marvel comic ever published. You're saying, Lewis, that's crazy, and it is crazy, and also technically not true. What I'm actually doing, I'm just going to stabilise it, sorry, I'm holding it myself, because I have no one else to do it. I could put it on the desk, but I don't trust myself. Anyway, so Lewis, it's impossible, what are you doing? Okay, well, here's what's happening. I'm going to read, even with these concessions, it's still going to be pretty big. But what I'm doing is I'm using Marvel Unlimited, which is a service that Marvel provides. It's like Netflix, but for Marvel comics. And basically it lets you read, it's like £9 a month, and it lets you read just loads of comics. They've got like loads of like the complete runs of loads of their stuff. I'm going to use that, and when they fail to give me a comic I need to read, I will look elsewhere. But right at the moment, we're going to start with where I feel like the Marvel Universe as a whole properly starts, and that is with the first issue of Fantastic Four. And we're going to go on from there with every series that they begin publishing, or with things like Tales to Astonish and Tales to Mystery and stuff like that, when they start publishing characters that become part of the Marvel Universe. So yeah, we're going to keep doing that until eventually I either give up, which is most likely, or I guess until forever, I suppose. Until forever, or Marvel shuts down, or I give up, which is, I probably will give up more before Marvel shuts down, but we'll see how we go. The first thing we're going to talk about, as I said, is the first issue of Fantastic Four. This, the classic Mole Man, the first appearance of the Mole Man as well as their first villain. Obviously there was a story about this, that Stan Lee was having golf with the head of DC, and he said he was having so much like great fun with Justice League, not fun, money. He's getting lots of money for Justice League, and so Stan Lee said, "Well, why do I was the head of Marvel? It wasn't Stan Lee. Why would Stan Lee be?" Never mind. He said to Stan Lee, the head of Marvel was in the golf match. Oh, it's going to pot already. He was at the golf match, and he said to Stan Lee, "Look, they're having great stuff with Justice League. You make us a superhero team." And so he did. He made the Fantastic Four, which were meant to be like a super team family. It's pretty great. And the origins, everyone knows the classic origins, even comic book form of the Fantastic Four. There are they go off into space. Ben Grimm's like, no, we shouldn't go into space because we don't have the right shields. It's all terrible and we don't have shields, and there's cosmic rays up there. And if we get hit with the cosmic rays without shields, we're fucked. And then Sue's like, no, we need to go because we don't want the commies to beat us. And that's the thing you'll notice a lot in these early ones. I've read quite a few. I was meant to start the series a lot longer ago, but I just sort of kept getting sidetracked with it. But I've read quite a few of these. A lot of the time the enemies are communists. Not in this one, but a lot of the time they are. So yeah, so Sue, she's adamant that they have to go and read, his putty. It's kind of funny with his part, never mind. He's putty in Sue's hands, and he says to go, and they bring Johnny Storm along, her kid brother, because he insisted. He likes it, he says, no, I'm not going anywhere, my sister didn't go. It's like, okay, I guess that means we're taking you on board a ridiculously dangerous mission then. And so they do, and they get hit by cosmic rays, as Ben said, and in a kind of horrible twist, Ben obviously ends up the worst, which, is quite a powerful story arc. They never really go into this idea that Ben didn't even want to go, and he ends up the worst. They never really deal with that much. I like on the cover, it says featuring The Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, Invisible Girl, together for the first time, implying that, like the Justice League, these were all heroes in their own right that joined forces, but that's not true. They obviously were all created for this comic in itself. But it's quite a good issue. As an issue, it does pretty much what you'd want from a first issue. It has the origin as well as giving us a fun a story as well. So the origin is separate to the main story, which is the Mole Man. So obviously Mole Man sends a monster out. They fight it, follow it down, and they find that it is the subterranean home of the Mole Man, who's this sort of deformed person who decided to live underground because nobody would accept him. Because whilst he's brilliant and a genius, he is deformed and ugly. And as Reed puts it at the end, they defeat him, obviously, using their amazing powers. They defeat him, and as Reed says in the end, oh, you know, in the end he probably is better that he dies alone. Like as they leave, his old fortress collapses, and he says, well, it's probably for the best, because he's so ugly he could never be in modern society, which is a good message, I feel, to give to young children in the 1960s. So yeah, so that's the issue. I think it's a good first outing for the Fantastic Four. It's, you know, it has a decent story. They're quite sluggish, these old ones. It's just how they're written. They're written quite sluggishly, but the artwork's good. It's old Jack Kirby, obviously. Some of the thing, like the Thing, looks a bit strange and these colours are a bit off, but that obviously improves as the time goes on. And yeah, I think it showcased their powers. Though obviously, as with most things, Sue kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot, because despite the fact they made her a part of the team, Stan Lee seems to have this thing against having her do anything useful. Like he seems to feel she shouldn't be a superhero, which we'll get into a lot later on. It gets better, but there are a couple of interesting things with Marvel and its relationship to women in these early days, and maybe now. Now it's better. It's a lot better now. But yeah. So as I say it's a good first issue. I think it's pretty good. If you wondering what I'm looking at, I've got the cover just in front of me. So yeah, it's a good first issue. I think, you know, it has some decent story. The villain's alright, but I think it suffers from things that just comics in those days did suffer for. But I like it being an origin story that feels complete, because I was just reading Miss Marvel, the new Miss Marvel, and that origin story takes about 4 issues, which is quite a lot. So with this one, it's origin and main story arc straight away. So yeah, so good issue, and I will see you next time for The Man in the Anthill. Bye.